Hello, I needed a bit of test gear for a problem I was trying to solve on a machine tool recently, and I knocked this thing together and I realised afterwards it's actually the basis of a DIY. Oops, what have I done? Oh, pulled the wire out, it's alright. Only got the wire stuffed into a socket there, a little 5-volt adapter. Right, so it's pretty much the basis of a DIY digital readout. You can connect it to one or two encoders, or as I've built it, but the device I'm using could take 3 or more, and it will give you a count. Just turn that off. Right, so that'll count. So this is a 2000 line i9 encoder, Quadrature differential A, B and Z, and you can see it'll count however fast this will go, or far faster than I can turn it. This will count. It'll go up to somewhere around megahertz range for counting, and the other features are put on it. Just rewind it just for the sake of it. Get back to near zero. The other features are put on it. As you can see at the moment, that's going up, just counting without limit. That enables a reference pulse, so if I turn it now, the next reference pulse it sees, it'll put the count at that instant into the Z value, and then the A value is the difference between the reference pulse and the current position. Now, as it is, it's in raw units, so it's doing 4,000 counts per revolution of the encoder. Sorry, 8,000. So it's 2,000 line encoder, 8,000. And if I just zero it, so the switches are enable zero, pick up from the encoder. So this is the inside of the device. There's not a lot to it, component wise. So all there is on there is the screen. You can see the information on the screen there. 4-inch TFT SPI, 48320V 2.1. That's operating at 3.3 volts out of the STM32 black pill. Wrong around, you can just about read it. So, encoder input connectors there. That one has the 6 wires for A, B, Z, plus power and ground, and the screen connection from the socket, the earth tag on it. That's the LCD connections, which all come from pins, or virtually all come from pins on that side of the device there. On the other side, got a few wires for the switches, switch power, LED ground, 4 1K pull down resistors, which are just the pull downs for the switch inputs. There's 2 10Ks there, which feed the bases of those 2 transistors, BC550s or something like that. 2 more 10Ks, which are the base 2 emitter pull downs to keep them switched off if the outputs rather are open, tri-state mode. You know, the outputs are open, not doing anything. And 2 26LS32, which could be 2632 as well. Quad line receivers. There's 3 sections of each use for the A, B, Z. So there's 2 wires for each signal into that Marantz line, and 1 out to the appropriate pin on the module. It's all wired with wire on the back side of the board. So there's not a lot to it, but it does seem to work okay. Okay, and get back to the circuit diagram or whatever now. Oh, sorry, not the circuit, the program, which includes the pinouts. It's a bit of a tight fit in that case, which is why it's got a slightly odd arrangement of wiring. There's not a lot of space. The switches are actually an interference fit between and over components, so there would be if the component arrangement was any different. The buttons are touching the connector and the push switches are in a valley between those two. But anyway, it does fit and it works, which is what matters. Okay, yeah, that's it. So like I say, back to the program description and pinout description. The button is 0 the register. If I find the 0 count, enable 0, there you go. That's 8755. If I set it so, if I set the actual count to that, it should be on 0. Very, very touchy because it's so sensitive. So just trying to take my finger off it, can do it. Oh, there we go. Right, so if I zero it at that, now that will count at multiples of 8,000 because I managed to get the 0 spot on. So you can see it's updating the 0 position now that switch is on every rotation encoder, which is every 8,000 counts, and it tracks that quite nicely. It stays at multiples of 8,000. What do I do with it? I mean, basically, to convert this to a readout, you'd have to add just a simple scaling function to convert the raw counts to distance measured, and it could have extra functions for axis select and axis to key in values for position rather than just 0 the position. But it's a good start, I suppose. So I'll put the code on screen and scroll through it just to see how it works. It's not very complex. Define all the pins. They're the ones that have been used for different things. Well, that's the list of all the connections we're using. They're the ones that are defined for the encoders and switches. Then the TFT display setup, there's 4-inch TFT, which is a 480 by 320 resolution. And then all the variable allocations to store everything. And the 2 encoder setup, or counter setup rather. These sections set up 2 of the counters in the device, which is a black pill, STM32F411. They set that up to work as hardware quadrature. Then a couple of interrupts on rising edge that pick up the 0 pulse from each encoder. This sets, as you can see, this sets up the outputs for the LCD, turn the backlight on, initialization, which basically just puts my name on it. Ow, that 7805 hasn't got a heatsink on the adapter board, it gets hot. So basically that's all it does. It just puts a bit of text on the screen for a couple of seconds and then switches to operating mode. That's the switches and LEDs in, but there are LEDs in those switches, the top 2, but I'm not actually using them at the minute. They're not needed. You can see the switch is pressed or not. And that's the main loop. So it gets the count from each counter. And now the counters are operating 16-bit. So this then looks for overflows or underflow and increments the upper half another 16-bit register, which is then combined with the 16-bit count to give the 32-bit value. Put the numbers into text strings with labels, the E1, Z1, A1, etc. For each encoder, and then just copy all 6 lines onto the screen. These are the 0 button routines. Just set everything for each encoder, for the relevant encoder to 0 if the button's pressed. Then these are the encoder zero pulse routines, which if the zero pulse occurs, or when it occurs, the interrupt is triggered. This first of all checks that the switch is actually pressed on the unit, and if the switch is pressed, then it reads the counter and copies that. You know, it's the same routine as above, extended to 32-bit, and copies that into the zero value register. And same for the other encoders. So not a lot to it. So yeah, that's it. I'll provide a link to the code if you want to play with it. It's a 4-inch display. It's a common one. I don't know how to describe it other than that. It's a 4-inch TFT. The other thing is I've done a custom setup file for the TFT ESPI routine, the display driver. This is just the kind of template one from there. It's got the bits of configuration in for the connections used and the relevant fonts, frequencies, and somewhere in here the actual driver type. I'm going to scroll straight past that. Oh, there, yeah, ILI9488 right at the top, and it's an STM32. Now I believe it actually uses DMA to output of that. It's outputting SPI at 50-something megahertz, 55 megahertz. So it gives it quite a decent update to the screen. As you can see when I'm turning that, it's quite a. There's very little lag, no real flicker in anything. It just updates nicely, and it's updating all 6 lines, even if the bottom ones aren't changing. Again, the lines are possibly a bit long, but I just left it as something that could fill the screen. It doesn't really need that many digits. And obviously, if you're going to put a scaling factor in, then you'd have a multiplication and division probably for gear ratios or whatever, and then also to set the decimal point position and how many digits you want displayed in the decimal point in the print lines. Okay, anyway, that's it. Just a quick bit of code that you might find interesting, and another little project that hopefully is useful to somebody. That's it, and thanks for watching.